Have you ever caught yourself falling into the trap of thinking that you need a ton of fancy brushes and tools to create beautiful art? You're not alone. It's a common misconception that many beginner artists have. However, let me tell you, it's simply not true. Chasing after the latest and shiniest art supplies can do more harm than good to you. You may think that having exactly the same brush set as SamDoesMen or RossDraws will make you an art god. That's akin to trying to solve a problem that doesn't affect you yet. You're distracted, and you procrastinate on the lever-moving actions that will make you better at art. Having a great brush set does not automatically make you a great artist. So what does? Great fundamentals. I want to share you a different perspective on the importance of having a simple round brush and why focusing on fundamentals is the key to unlocking your full potential as an artist. Why chasing after new brushes and tools is bad for you? Have you ever found yourself spending hours scrolling through art supplies online or at store, feeling excited and inspired by the all new things you could try? This is known as the shiny object syndrome. It's a trap that can distract you from focusing on the important things that truly make a great artist. It's important to understand that fancy brushes and tools won't magically make your art better. Their purpose is to make certain techniques easier to achieve, but they won't compensate for a lack of knowledge and skill. The truth is that no amount of expensive supplies can replace the knowledge and practice of fundamentals. So, what is the one tool that can help you create amazing art? Let's take digital art for example. It's the simple round brush. This is a versatile tool that can be used for a variety of techniques, such as blending, creating details, and laying down color. It's a staple in every artist's toolbox and has been used by great artists that you know today. But why is the simple round brush so important? It's because it forces you to focus on the basics of brushwork, such as pressure and the stroke direction. By mastering these fundamentals, you can create a wider variety of effects with just one tool. But it goes even further than that. Not having a library of tools also makes you more focused. You might think that you are more productive when you're eyeing that new set of brushes, but in reality, you're just procrastinating. You are over-preparing. You think that you need all the brushes in the world to actually start drawing, but in reality, you'll be scamming for brushes for the rest of eternity if you had the chance. When you don't have to worry about what brushes to use, you'll be quicker to fall into the action you need to do to improve. And what's that? Drawing. I want to stress the importance of focusing on fundamentals of art. Your preferences and style are nothing without a strong foundation. You build a strong foundation by studying and practicing the basics, such as color theory, brush economy, line quality, composition, perspective, anatomy. A great foundation will allow you to explore and experiment with a wider range of brushes and tools in the future. In fact, many professional artists use a limited number of tools and brushes to this day. They have developed their skills and knowledge to such an extent that they can create amazing art with just a few simple tools. While you had heard me say that a simple round brush is all you need to create amazing art, that doesn't mean that your collection of 10,000 brushes is now invalid. You might be wondering then, what's the point of having custom brushes? You might say, my favorite artist has over 50 brushes and they use all of them. Yes, but have you noticed how they are using their brushes? Each and one of those specific brushes has a specific purpose. In this case, the problem with the round brush is that it's a jack of all trades. You can't create a textured surface or a plain field full of greenery with just a round brush? I mean, you can, but it's gonna take a long ass time. This is exactly where custom-made brushes come into play. Each artist, after gaining a strong grasp of fundamentals, also begins to understand the preferences. That, in turn, dictates what they like to paint or to draw, and how exactly to do it. Custom brushes are the result of the constant iterations of artists trying to perfect their workflow. Custom brushes can be useful for certain situations, such as creating a specific surface or achieving a certain effect. But, like with any tool, it's essential to have a solid foundation of knowledge and skill to use custom brushes effectively. It's double if you are not using your own brushes. It's important to note that custom brushes can be time-consuming to create. And it's easy to fall into the trap of relying too heavily on them, instead of focusing on fundamentals. That isn't to say that you shouldn't be using them. You need to be mindful of each brush stroke, especially with wet brush. Regardless, custom brushes can be a useful addition to your toolbox. But it's better to use them in conjunction with a solid foundation of fundamentals. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that custom brushes are a shortcut to creating great art. Instead, focus on developing your skills and knowledge, and experiment with custom brushes as a tool to enhance your art. That doesn't mean that you should be an absolute purist and resist any temptations for those juicy textures. If you find a brush that fits perfectly within your workflow, use it. If you keep trying using a brush that doesn't work for you, but you keep using it because a famous artist does so, drop it. It's a process of iteration, and you can only iterate if you begin to understand yourself. And don't think that there's a perfect brush that's better than anything else. Your preferences change, your style evolves, and that, in turn, dictates the brushes that you are using. If you currently have, let's say, a manga/anime art style, you won't be looking for realistic brushes that imitate oil or watercolor paints, would you? You look for tools that fit within your workflow. I'm a living testament for this. My style changes on a regular basis, but I know that there are still some aspects that make my art my own, and brushes are certainly not one of those factors. They only allow me to do what I love to do more efficiently. Remember that fancy art supplies won't make you a better artist. Instead, focus on the fundamentals of art and develop your skills with a simple round brush. Once you have a strong foundation, you can begin to explore and discover your preferences in brushes and instruments. By taking this approach, you'll be on a path to becoming a skilled and confident artist or designer. But with that said, I'd love to hear from you. What's your preferences in brushes? Are you a round brush purist, a brush holder, or somewhere in between? Pick up your simple round brush and start drawing. Bye!